Grace Kelly never needed Botox to look 10 years younger. At the age of 52, she simply cut her hair, and the entire world stopped to look. While Hollywood was spending fortunes on procedures, she discovered the secret that the beauty industry does not want you to know. The right haircut is worth more than any promise of eternal youth. But here is the problem. You are sabotaging your own efforts without even realizing it. That hair you consider neat might be adding a decade to your face. And the worst part? Everyone sees it, except you. The difference between looking tired and looking radiant is not in the price of the salon. It is in the choice of style. And today, you are going to discover exactly which 10 haircuts work like a reverse time machine, each one with visual evidence that will shock you. If you are tired of feeling invisible while other women your age shine, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Because elegance is not an accident. It is strategy. And you deserve to know all the secrets. The first haircut on the list rejuvenates so much that people will ask if you changed dermatologists. Take a look at this transformation. It is pure facial math applied with intelligence. This long bob is not an accident. It is hair architecture that hacks the perception of age. The frame that defines everything. Helen Mirren discovered at the age of 70 that hair is like a lawyer. It can either defend you or condemn you in the court of first impressions. She changed her haircut, and suddenly, Hollywood stopped offering her sweet grandmother roles and started giving her leading roles as a powerful woman. But that did not happen by chance. Hair communicates before you even open your mouth. It whispers about your energy, shouts about your self-care, and sometimes reveals your emotional state better than any confessor. Therefore, every strand is a declaration of intent. After the age of 60, this communication becomes even more crucial, but here lies the danger. Most women are sending the completely wrong message. You know those ladies in the supermarket with hair so stiff that even the wind cannot move it? They have kept the same haircut for 20 years, thinking it is elegant, but in reality, they look like they stepped out of a time machine from the 1980s. On the opposite end are those who let their hair grow without shape, thinking it is practical, but they create a messy look that adds years. It is like wearing wrinkled clothes, thinking no one will notice. Therefore, both paths lead to the same destination, invisibility. Think about Diane Keaton. She could have followed the manual for well-behaved mature women, but she chose to keep length and movement. The result? At the age of 77, she still gets romantic roles, while actresses 20 years younger are relegated to playing the best friend. The difference is in the right frame. Let us go to secret number 2 that can literally sculpt your face. The secret of lines that lie. When Halle Berry appeared at the age of 60 with that perfect long bob, she did not just change her hair, she hacked the mathematics of the face. The trick was in the vertical lines that created an optical illusion so efficient that even Photoshop could not do better. But most women are doing exactly the opposite. The mature face naturally tends to widen over time. Gravity pulls, muscles relax, so you need visual allies to counterbalance this equation. Haircuts that create vertical lines are like architects for your look. They build height where there was width. But here is the problem. You are probably choosing cuts that make your face look like a pancake. Observe the women who use curling irons to create volume on the sides, thinking they are adding body to their hair. In reality, they are adding shoulder pads to their strands, widening the face as if the head grew 20 centimeters sideways. On the opposite end are those who slick everything back rigidly, fully exposing the face shape with no softening. It is like taking a photo without a filter when you always use one. Brutal and unnecessary. Therefore, both choices sabotage elegance. Glenn Close discovered this at the age of 70 and completely transformed her presence with vertical lines that elongate and slim, so it is not too late for you to master this facial geometry too. If you have ever had doubts about which cut to choose, comment long bob below if you are considering that option. I will reply personally. The art of hiding. Without looking like you are hiding. Jennifer Aniston, at the age of 54, discovered that a well-placed fringe works better than any anti-aging cream. She simply adopted curtain bangs, and suddenly everyone forgot she was born in the 1970s. But the secret was not in what she showed, but in what she strategically concealed. The fringe is like an interior designer for your face. It redistributes focal points and creates shadow zones where you need visual rest. A curtain or long side fringe works like theater curtains. It directs the gaze where you want it to go. But here's the trap that 90% of women fall into. They choose fringes that look like miniature helmets. Observe the women who cut their bangs too short, thinking they will look modern. In reality, they expose too much of the forehead, creating facial disproportions, like wearing a miniskirt when you have short legs. On the opposite end are those who leave their bangs too thick, thinking they will hide more wrinkles. But they create a heavy curtain that makes the eyes look gloomy. It is like wearing sunglasses indoors. Therefore, both choices turn a solution into a problem. Curtain and long side bangs are like sophisticated veils. They soften without announcing that they are softening. They highlight the eyes while gently distracting from areas you prefer to keep in the background, but they require courage to abandon the extremes. If you have already tried curtain bangs or are thinking of cutting them, comment which fear is holding you back. I will reply personally. The color that works like a professional studio light. Helen Hunt, at the age of 59, switched from dark brown to golden highlights and literally became 10 years younger, not by magic, but by pure optical science. The light reflected by warm hair tones acts like a professional softbox aimed at your face, but most women are doing the opposite, creating shadows where there should be luminosity. Think of your hair as a portable photoreflector. Honey, caramel, and champagne tones act like golden mirrors that capture and redirect natural light to soften lines. Therefore, each light strand is a small spotlight working in your favor. But observe the women who dye their hair jet black after the age of 50, thinking they are hiding gray hairs. They actually create such a harsh contrast that it looks like they are wearing a gothic wig. On the opposite end are those who go overboard with platinum highlights, thinking the lighter, the better, but they create an artificial effect that ages. It is like wearing foundation 2 shades lighter than your skin, obvious and counterproductive. Therefore, both extremes sabotage the goal of looking younger. Strategically placed warm highlights near the face act as luminous contouring. They literally sculpt your best features with light instead of shadow. But this requires letting go of the false security of extremes that actually make you look artificial. Does this science of light make sense to you? Like the video if you are discovering things no one ever taught you before. The difference between flying and collapsing. Michelle Obama discovered the gravitational power of volume when she let go of those rigid White House hairstyles and embraced natural movement. Suddenly, she no longer looked like a formal first lady, but a vibrant woman who happens to be a former first lady. But the secret was not in excess, it was in intelligent hair physics. Volume is like architecture. It needs a solid foundation and balanced weight distribution. Height at the crown creates the illusion of youth because it mimics the hair structure we had in our 20s. Therefore, soft waves and a slightly lifted root act like invisible scaffolding that supports your appearance. But observe women who pull their hair back too tightly, exposing the lack of volume at the root. It is like over-frowning your eyebrows. It instantly ages you. Equally problematic is making a sharply centered part on fine hair, drawing attention to early thinning. It is like putting an arrow pointing to what you want to hide. Therefore, both choices turn a potential solution into visual sabotage. Controlled volume with natural movement functions, like a constant dance between structure and freedom. It needs to be firm enough to hold shape, but loose enough to look effortless. But it requires courage to abandon the false safety of neat hair. The final act of hair performance. Sarah Jessica Parker, at the age of 58, understood that hair can be perfectly cut and colored, but if the finish is a disaster, it is like wearing a haute couture dress with plastic shoes. All the investment goes down the drain. The difference between looking messy and looking radiant lies in the last 5 minutes of the process. Texture is the final signature of your look. Shine serums, definition creams, and lightweight oils act like the finishing touches of a painting. They turn something almost good into something stunning. Therefore, each product is like a different brush in the hand of an artist. But here is where most women make the fatal mistake. They treat finishing as an afterthought. Dull, shapeless hair is like wearing an unpolished jewel. You have something valuable in your hands, but no one notices because it is too blurry. Uncontrolled frizz does not say natural and authentic. It says, I gave up on myself. Therefore, each rebellious strand not tamed is a small surrender to negligence. Well-defined texture with controlled shine functions like varnish on a work of art. It protects, enhances, and ensures that your investment in cut and color is not wasted by laziness in the final details. But it requires accepting that genuine beauty is daily effort, not a lucky accident. The 3 capital sins of mature hair. Madonna, at the age of 65, committed all these mistakes in a single Grammy appearance and suddenly looked 20 years older, not because she aged overnight, but because she ignored the basic rules she had mastered for decades. Therefore, even reinvention icons can stumble when they relax their aesthetic vigilance. A blunt cut at jaw level works like a tight belt in the wrong place. It adds volume exactly where the mature face least needs emphasis, creating a horizontal line that shortens and widens instead of elongating. It is like wearing horizontal stripes when you want to look slimmer. Therefore, every centimeter of that line works against you. Hair that has not been cut for many months is like wearing a wrinkled outfit. It may have been beautiful once, but now it only communicates neglect. Strands lose shape, ends become uneven, and all investment in color and style goes out the window along with the structure. But many women think they are being practical when in fact they are being self-destructive. Color that is too artificial or monochromatic without highlights is like using only one color of makeup on the entire face. It technically covers, but enhances nothing. It creates a flat look that ages because it eliminates the natural depth youthful hair possesses. Therefore, every overly uniform tone is a missed opportunity to appear more interesting. If you have committed any of these hair sins, take a deep breath and comment, "I have done worse." It helps other women not feel alone. Now you have the complete arsenal. 10 strategies that work like time machines, bangs that hide without lying, and colors that illuminate like professional spotlights. But here is the final test. How many of these strategies will you actually use? Because knowledge without action is like having the car key and still walking on foot. Helen Mirren did not become a style icon by sleeping. She made bold decisions and left her comfort zone. If you apply at least 3 of these techniques, you will be surprised by what you see in the mirror. And when that happens, come back here and tell me in the comments which change had the most impact. If this video opened your eyes to the transformative power of the right hair, leave your like and subscribe to the channel, because elegance is a journey, not a destination. The next video will reveal the 5 posture mistakes that are sabotaging your entire elegance, even with perfect hair. You might be destroying years of visual investment without realizing it. Comment below, "My hair is my power," if you are ready for this transformation.